morning. This is Marshall Pitts. And Myron Pitts should be on his way, and we are. MP3. Good morning, everybody. I want to thank everybody who listens in to MP3. We appreciate it. Here comes Myron now. We already. And we always want to thank our participating stations who help make MP3 possible. And if you want to join in our conversations, our talks, please dial right away, 910-483-6111, 910-483-6111. We certainly appreciate it. We always enjoy that. And often our callers enlighten us on some things we may not have thought about.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Right. And so, Myron, good morning to you. And
good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Have you your work area, has it moved a little closer to the studio?
Why you ask that? Because he's on time.
Yeah, you're on time quite a bit nowadays. Myron still is usual, but y'all used to come in together. I thought y'all were in the same
got an early start.
But so you a little closer to the studio nowadays?
No, just more focused, man. More focused.
More focused on being on time.
Not letting all the all the stuff that's going on 1,000 miles an hour. I just calm the storm and get on out of it.
He even got back to Myron. He even got back to printing his stuff out there.
Okay, printing out his research.
Printing out his research. You remember he was doing that for a while, and then he kind of fell off.
For years.
He kind of fell off. Yeah, for a while.
Anyway,
a lot to talk about.
Okay, let's get started, Myron. What we have on tap?
Yeah, so we got a little bit of everything.
We already decided what we're going to talk about before you get here.
Yeah.
Okay, why are you asking? You already decided.
We're going to try to keep the sports as short as possible today. We know we're going to say a little something about Carolina.
Okay.
We're going to say a little something. We're going to say a little something about
Darryl Green.
Darryl Green.
Yeah.
And then that'll be it for sports.
Well, not necessarily.
No, the coach. The
coach, right.
And then, of course, we're going to talk about, what was the other one? Oh, slavery.
Oh, yeah.
Slavery.
And
resolution.
and the United States refusing to apologize for slavery.
And that's, we can talk about that. It's purely a Trump thing.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. I don't know I don't know that Obama and Clinton would have.
Oh, he obviously would. But anyway,
Clinton was the first one to. We'll get into all that.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. That's why it's a good topic.
We'll get into all
That's why it's a good topic. Yeah.
All right.
So Darryl Green, mind you had sent us this story. NFL legend. I knew him for the Redskins. Did he play for another team?
His whole career.
Whole career, wasn't it?
Yes, 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't think he played for anyone else.
Considered,
I'm not sure, but I don't think he did.
I believe it's safe to say he was widely considered the fastest person in the NFL at the time, right? He's certainly one of the fastest.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, faster.
Yeah, he was.
What names are even up there with him? Like
Deion.
Deion Sanders. That might be.
But Deion was during most of his career. Deion wasn't even playing yet, was he? No, he wasn't.
But Deion was, he was at some parts of his career. So
But a fast individual.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness, yes. My goodness, yes.
Well, clearly, he's considered one of the fastest to ever play the game.
Certainly,
right.
Yeah, certainly. So he is 66 now, and looks
Time
great
flies.
too from his pictures. But he is he's coming out of retirement, and he's trying to land a position with Team USA's.
What'd you say about his pictures?
Huh?
What'd you say about his pictures?
I think he looks pretty good in the pictures.
Oh, it looks pretty good.
66,
from the pictures.
yeah.
I didn't hear what you said.
But not that 66 is old, But in any case, he
Well, it's not
is
26 either.
It's not 26 or 16.
26 is not 26.
It's none of those things.
Not 86 either.
Or 36 or 46.
Right.
They say age ain't nothing but a number, but
Well, that's what they say.
That's what they say.
It's more than a number now.
It's a little more than that.
Now that I'm
So he's
57.
trying out for the flag
57 or
football
58.
team, Team USA.
You know you're not 57. Why are you pretend like you don't know what your age is?
Well, it's that's one of the things about age and getting older. You forget how old you are.
Yeah, forget how old you are, right? Our grandma, she didn't know that she's she had an opinion, but we didn't know whether she was 100 or 99 when she passed. And
So I don't know whether I'm 57 or 58. I don't know.
If you say so.
I'm up there somewhere.
We're all getting up there. Yeah. It's a blessing to be.
It is.
Oh, no doubt.
So in any case, he wants to try out for the flag football team, Team USA. The squads will participate in IFAF, was that International Flag something, in the football championships in Dusseldorf, Germany, from August 13 to 16. He says, quote, on his Instagram page, Darryl Green said, quote, "I'm going to give it my best, and I'll walk away with my head up either way." Now, so of course he'll be competing, fellas, with a lot younger guys First of all, A, do you think he has a shot at getting on the team? And B, is this a case, and I asked y'all this over text as well, is this a case of, a somewhat older gentleman just having some fun, or is it a case where he can't let go the glory days of the NFL?
No, I don't think
No, he will not make the team.
How do you know that for sure?
He's not gonna make the team. They might let him on there as just like a trivia type thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not going.
Trivia.
He's 66. He's 66 years old. So you talk about somebody. He's gonna be competing against guys that are in their 20s.
Yeah.
And you and
But
so
you have to-
in
listen,
football.
Listen, your quickness is the last thing to go.
It's gone at 66. Though. I think we can agree with that, right?
Is that true?
No,
I don't know, but
no,
whether it is or not doesn't make any difference. My point is,
but
it's
listen,
gone at 66.
But listen, as you age, you start your muscles and stuff. You start to lose muscle mass. And that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that's right.
But and even
You literally shrink.
Yeah,
right?
a lit and speed and that. But still, you still have that quick twitch muscles. Still, they last a little bit longer.
Okay.
Okay, so after he start twitching, then what are you gonna do? Because you just said he ain't got the strength or the speed. So after he start
We don't know
twitching,
what he has.
then what?
Right.
That quickness is not gonna do you any
Yeah.
good if you quick enough to avoid something. And then what?
No, but when you've been one of the fastest guys out there, even at 66, for instance, I can outrun. I am confident I can outrun the average guy at my age right now for a short distance.
Oh yeah,
for a short distance. Okay, so
the
Average person your age.
no, the average person.
No, I agree with that.
That's probably right.
Yeah,
That's
right.
probably
Because
right.
most
That's
guys,
right.
but he's not gonna be competing
But he's
against the
not
average
going to
person.
be competing against average
He's
people.
gonna be competing against some well-trained athletes.
That's right.
They're
That's
not
right.
the average people.
Right.
That's my point. Now, if he was competing against the average 20-something or 30-something
Oh,
year
yeah.
old,
Yeah,
yes,
he'd probably make
he
the
would
team.
make the team.
Yeah.
But he's not going. He's going to be competing against some guys that are trying to make an Olympic team, well-conditioned, 20-something
Athletes.
years old.
Right.
So they talked to Callie Brownson, who is the senior director of high performance and national teams for USA Football, which I guess they're over the flag football program. She says Green will be given a legitimate chance, just like all the others who qualified for the tryouts. Now, she says that he qualified through what she calls a digital combine.
No, I don't understand how that works. They do? You show them? They have you on video doing it, or how does that work? You
It's
know,
much. She says
The only way he
he's-
could have qualified.
She says his testing results were impressive. That's what she said. Our coaches and staff felt he deserved a closer look. He's a rare athlete who has stayed in shape,
Right.
Nigel, MP2,
Right.
and is ready to compete this week. So this is going to be this week. And then she goes on to say, when you see a Hall of Famer, players of high-level tackle football backgrounds, former flag football gold medalists, and elite athletes from other sports showing up to compete for a spot on this team, that tells you something. So that's kind of she kind of sketches out who he'll be competing
It
with.
depends on his role too, whether he can. He's got a shot. It's a long shot, but he's got.
It's not tackle too
Right,
much.
it's
I
not
mean, it's not tackle. It's
not
flag.
tackle.
Right?
Tackle,
And
smack,
there- and
the
there-
flag. He can't make that team.
And there are components of flag football that really focus on very short bursts of speed.
Yeah.
You know?
He will make the team. Yes, you're right, Marshall and Myron. He will make the team based on the novelty of it all. He's not going to make the team. He's not going to make the team based on talent.
She also adds it's the deepest pool of athletes we've ever had at trials.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we
So
go.
if he wins it, if he gets on the team, that will be a feat.
Right.
But we
just like I
can't
said, it
say
depends
that
on
they would put him on the team just for the novelty. I will say that we're talking about this story is because of the novelty.
Correct.
Someone is 66 competing for
Correct.
a
Because if any other 60,
highly athletic
if any
endeavor.
other 60-plus-year-old was trying out for this team, we wouldn't be having this story. Darryl Green, Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
one of the greatest corner, in my opinion, maybe the top 2 or 3 cornerbacks of all time. You know, right
But the
behind
thing
Deion
is,
and others.
another reason we're having this conversation, not just because it's Darryl Green, but it's an in shape Darryl Green. That makes a difference too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so he's got it's a very long shot, but he's got a shot.
Yeah.
It's the only.
If you put me, if I, I've even thought about doing this. They have.
Please don't. Whatever it is.
Yeah, that's why he's interested.
Please don't. Whatever it is you get ready to say, please don't.
Well, he might be in the senior game.
I don't know if the baseball league, the National League, still do the designated runner thing. Do they still do that? Mm-hmm. So.
One of the leagues has a designated hitter, and then when the hitter gets on, then they let
Can swap
run.
with a designated runner, right?
I can't remember when I say AL or NL.
So from bag to bag, that's only 90 feet. Mm-hmm. I would be great at that. I mean, just absolutely great. It would at this age.
But what if you
at
had
this age right now?
There's sliding. There's some collision sometimes.
You got your quickness in there. It requires a lot of quickness and a short burst of speed for a short distance.
And you're sliding.
And sliding into base.
Throwing a 60-year-old body onto the ground.
Well, sliding is nothing for kids.
You might not be able to get up.
You're right. That part for me.
So the U.S., just to wrap up this segment, the United States has won 6 of the last 7 flag football world championship tournaments since 2010, and over 100 men and women are expected to try out for the team this weekend.
So that was the thing I did not know. I did not know that flag football was being competed on at a world level.
Me neither.
This is the first time.
I feel like they've talked about it.
This is the first time for the Olympics.
That's right.
First time for the Olympics.
Right. So this is the first. It's going to be.
So they've got women. I've seen the advertisements for women's flag football on TV.
Now the next Olympics, that was 2028. That would include flag football. He would be 68 at that time.
Yeah, that's a little bit. You're stepping on your cord over there.
Yeah.
That's
So
if you could compete at 66, you could probably compete at 68.
But we don't know that he can compete at 66.
That's right.
That's my point.
We'll find out.
And so, and what I'm saying to you, you guys have played and have seen competitive sports such as like intramurals, like you play rec ball, basketball, baseball. There's a reason why they have age limits.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't see the 50-year-old, 60-year-old guys playing with the 20-year-old guys.
Yeah.
They play in the 45 and up league. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for that.
They do that in all athletics.
And a lot of those
track
guys,
or whatever, you the senior division, golf,
and a lot of those guys that are above 45 are in great shape for 45.
Right.
But if you put a 66-year-old in shape versus a 26-year-old in shape.
Also in shape.
We're not talking about a couch potato.
Right.
We're talking about someone who's actually in shape. The 66-year-old can't compete at that level, world class or not. The 66, he can't compete with a 26-year-old that's in shape. It just does not happen. And so, a lot of times, you know what started a lot of this? I can tell you what started a lot of this.
Boxers.
George Foreman.
Yeah.
When George Foreman won the heavyweight championship of the world against Mike Moore, I think it was Mike Moore, knocked him out in the whatever round that was. He was losing that fight.
Right.
And knocked him out in whatever round that was. And it let people, George was 50 plus. So that led people to start to think of, you can do, you can.
But see, boxing, just like Marshall was.
You can't.
Just like Marshall was talking about the twitch fibers, the last to go, the quickness in boxing, the big punch is actually the last to go.
Right.
It's the rest of the stuff, the stamina and being able to even take punches and stuff. But big punching fighters, that punch can last a long time, So you can get lucky, quote unquote. I'm not saying that's why he won that fight, but you can get lucky and catch
then on top of that, he was fighting Mike Moore too.
And the reason people are always still interested in, first of all, they love whatever the sport is, and it's hard for them to let go. And also, the notoriety and the glamour you get for all the other old guys and old women who are out there seeing you do this, you're celebrated.
Yeah, that's right. Celebrate. So good luck to him. I'd love to see him make the team, not just be put on the team and actually make the team based on talent.
For instance, I like that guy we talked about a few weeks back, or maybe a couple of months ago, who was in his 50s that playing Division III football.
That's right.
And made the team.
That's right.
And starting Division III. Getting a ton of NIL money. It's just a great, good field story.
Don't compare that to this. And the reason why you can't compare that to this is, what school was that?
I don't know that.
No one knows. That's my point. That's my point. He's playing Division III football.
Yeah, he was.
So, which I'm not disparaging Division III.
But apparently, it sounds like you are.
But what I am saying is not like he went down there to Alabama and made the team.
Right.
Carolina, even the sorry football team like Carolina, he in the Division I ball. He didn't make that type of thing.
Right.
He did something.
Still
else.
a lot of physical contact.
Yeah,
A lot of physical contact. So good luck to Darryl Green on that. Then I guess a less encouraging story, less positive story, but maybe a necessary story is the Tar Heels parted ways with Hubert Davis. He was fired, and one thing that people need to understand about that is that for him to receive the buyout money, it had to be that way. You can't resign. He couldn't have resigned and still got all of his contract money that was due him under that 5-year contract. So he was fired by the university. It seemed to come as a surprise to him. Just so? Based on all accounts, yeah, he was ready to coach some more. And I guess when he was meeting with Carolina officials, I don't know that he knew that he was. I don't necessarily think that he believed he wasn't going to get fired, but the conversation was positioned as, let's have a conversation. Do you want to continue coaching? And he says, I believe an Instagram post or some social media post, that he had told him he did want to continue to coach. And in fact, he has said he hopes to be coaching again soon. So he didn't want to go. And, you'll have people debate till the cows come home whether or not, Carolina cut ties too early. But as we've discussed on this show, our fan base is just not the most reasonable fan base. They're not. And we're not alone in that, because we look at Kansas, another school considered a so-called blue blood, one of the elite programs. We beat them this year, by the way. I got to throw that in. But Bill Self, who's really, considered a great coach, he's struggling there. I think he's had some health problems, so that's kind of affected things. But they got beat the second round this year, and the Jayhawk fans are already calling for him to. Not already. He's had a couple rough seasons. So, and rough by the standards of Kansas
Correct.
and Carolina. Right. Is not the same as rough someplace else.
Yeah, Hubert Davis won 24 games.
He's won 24 games this year. But it's
5 consecutive 20-win seasons.
Yeah. He has not had a losing season. His worst season, they didn't make the tournament, but even then, that was a winning season. He has had 2 early exits in the tournament. Of course, he had what we now know was a magical run where they made the Final Four.
They made a championship game, didn't they?
Made the championship game to the actual final, and blew a 15-point lead against Illinois. And I think the main thing driving the decision from at least from the way most Carolina fans see it. Not all believe he should go, because I've seen the other side of that too. But it's just that
it's not the side he's on.
A lot of the team, a lot of the problems that the team showed.
You saw that. He said he's seen the other side.
Yeah. Right. No, I think it's time. But the blowing that 19-point lead in the first round against Virginia Commonwealth, and a team that was not playing out of this world basketball. They were playing good basketball, but not, it's not like they were shooting 70-80% from the field. They were playing an ordinary game, and in fact got completely destroyed by Illinois, which, by the way, is a great team, the very next round, VCU. Mm-hmm. So to lose that kind of lead and show all the same problems, if you will, that we've been seeing for now years with Davis, the team kind of falls behind. Tyler Hansbrough is obviously UNC legend. He kind of put it well. He said that the team just goes still sometimes, like offensively and defensively. It just doesn't really do anything. The energy level drops, and then that allows a team like VCU to creep back in it. And Tyler put it, they call him Psycho T, by the way, UNC legend, I must reiterate. he said that we never put our foot on anyone's throat. And it's a very graphic way of saying when a team is trying to get back in the game, you got the lead, you got to put them away, you got to close. And Davis has had problems with that from the beginning. So but that said, some people are like his winning percentage is one of the better ones out there.
Great.
It's about what's close to 700. So
yeah, it's very good.
He's winning his majority of the games.
The only thing I think they would have a problem if we got
Yeah.
to go to a break. The only thing I would say is that I wonder outside of the Carolina family, because when I look at that, if I was a great coach anywhere in the land right now, whether it be college or pros, then I would really take that into consideration of whether I want to go coach Carolina. Because,
I think coaches do take that in consideration.
They would have to say to themselves, 20 wins is not enough.
No.
25 wins almost this year, that's not enough. Carolina fans want championships, and so, or they at least want to be able to play for championships. And so if I'm a coach and I know
I'm not touching it.
Yeah, I would
I'm not
outside of the Carolina family.
No.
Then I would.
And that's really is the.
I don't think Kansas and Duke and them are that unreasonable. I don't believe that. I think Carolina is on the level all alone when it comes to that.
Duke hasn't been tested with that yet, so we don't know how Duke is, but Kansas is that unreasonable.
But
Kentucky,
Kentucky, right?
Unreasonable.
Right.
You got some schools out there pretty unreasonable.
What I would say to myself is that do I want to go down there and be subjected to that, what I consider to be. Now, I'm not a Carolina.
Then you just say we had to go to break. See, when we're on the thing, we're on the clock, you say we got to go to break. You try to cut us off, but you say we're going to go to break, and then you start
finds some flexibility for his own commentary.
I'm taking my cues. I'm taking my cues from the man working the boat.
We'll go to break, and we'll be right back with MP3.
This is Apostle V.L. Whitfield of Righteous God Ministries, 2444 Owen Drive. You are listening to Wake Up.
The Senate has passed new funding for the Department of Homeland Security, putting the wheels in motion to end the partial government shutdown and reconnect TSA workers with a paycheck. Congresswoman Tim Moore is calling on new DHS Secretary Dwayne Mullins to expedite Western North Carolina funding. Moore tells WNCN he's hopeful Mullins' leadership will be different from the previous secretary. North Carolina Governor Josh Stein attended the groundbreaking ceremony for Advent Health's new hospital in Weaverville in Buncombe County. A warm, wet spring in 2026 is expected to trigger a significant bug boom across North Carolina with high populations of mosquitoes, termites, and ants. More airline passengers are offering help to TSA workers as they work without pay. North Carolina's voter identification plan was upheld on Thursday by a federal judge. Mike Ray.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Cumberland County says now is the time to ignite your future. Applications for the Ignite internship program close March 31st. Are you a high school or college student age 16 and up? Gain hands-on experience, explore careers in public service, and develop skills that will set you apart. Work with experienced mentors, build your network, and see what a career in government can really look like this summer. Don't miss your chance to take the first step toward your future. For more information and how to apply, go to the county's Facebook page. Cumberland County Schools say don't miss the food and supply distribution drive-through hosted by Cumberland County Schools. That's happening during spring break tomorrow. That is 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. while supplies last at 810 Gillespie Street. Students must be present in the vehicle to receive items. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Good morning. It's a warm and windy day. High temperatures reach the mid to upper 80s, approaching records for some areas. There will be a chance for showers and storms, though, this evening into tonight. Tonight, lows dip into the low to mid 40s after the rain clears out, and it's cooler and breezy behind our front tomorrow. Plenty of sun, but highs only climb into the mid to upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the NCN Weather Center.
Wake up, catch the vision, join the team. This is Pastor Reginald Johnston of My Father's House Christian Church right here in Fayetteville. We want you to wake up and join the team. Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It's good when we come together. We're one body, many parts. We desire that you wake up and join the team. It's good to be a part of Wake Up. Wake up, join the team. We will see you in Jesus' name. God bless you.
Pastor George Coney Jr., pastor of House of Prayer, Church of God in Christ, 3322 Big Piney Grove Road, Clinton, North Carolina. You're listening to Wake Up.
This is Bishop Johnny Ray Jr. of the Churches of Worship Worldwide, Apostle J.A. McDonough, 2118 Owen Drive. And we are proud to be a part of the Wake Up. Come and join the team.
If you can no longer work because of illness or injury, you should be collecting Social Security disability insurance benefits. Call Brent Adams now for a free consultation. Don't give up just because you've been turned down. Brent Adams has helped thousands collect full disability benefits, even after they've been turned down. Call now, 910-888-8888. Don't hesitate. Call 8. At Brent Adams & Associates, we make things right.
And we are back with Marshall Pitts.
Module Pitts.
And Myron Pitts.
And we are
MP3.
Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined us, we were just wrapping up a story about the Carolina Tar Heels firing their head coach,
Yeah.
Hubert Davis.
So last question for Myron about this, and just who do you think they're going to hire?
It's really hard to say. They're looking very hard from talks. And the university is playing its cards close to the vest, which is appropriate in this case, because the tournament's still going on. But
they were considered the five coaches, and
I know Iowa State's coach was one that's talked about.
He can forget it.
It
has to be someone who knows what he's getting into.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say unless you're in that seat. Billy Donovan, he's an NBA guy now.
Yeah, he coached Florida to 2 championships.
Yeah, coached Florida 2 championships.
What
He's
NBA
one of the
team is he
names that's talked about a lot right now.
I forgot who's Billy Donovan coaching. I don't even know.
Checking
who's
right
coaching
now.
Well, let's get started. We'll see how it all works.
I thought we were already started.
No,
We'll see how it
I mean,
shakes out. He means the next topic.
Next topic. Good luck to Carolina. I hope they get somebody good.
Hey, by the way, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the state is also looking for a coach now.
Right.
Will Wade, he coached him to the first 4 where they got beat. The play-in game, as they call it. But he's going back to LSU, which is where he came from.
Between the 2 teams. State was happy with him.
Well,
and they got knocked out in the first round. They barely got in the tournament.
I would say that State was going to stick with him certainly because he hadn't been there that long, maybe a year or two, and they
no, it was no year or 2. This is his first year.
This is first year?
Yes.
Yeah, so of course they weren't going to dump him after the first year. That's not bad, but you got to remember that they had Kevin Keats, who was there for 8 years. He took them to the Final Four 1 year, and then they had a losing record the next year. Didn't even qualify for the ACC tournament.
And
we
then
actually talked about that, and he got fired. Right. So we're not the only less than reasonable program out there. I just want to put that out there. So
so let's go down south to Tuskegee.
We talked about
this story before. Tuskegee's men's basketball coach Benji Taylor. He filed a federal lawsuit Friday seeking more than $1 million in damages from their arch rivals Morehouse College and 2 campus cops who detained him after a disturbance during the post-game handshake. And we talked about this before. They handcuffed him, walked him off the court, did a perp walk with him off the court.
Yeah.
And he has said that whole moment has really changed his life. He said he's lost a lot of weight. He has problems sleeping at night. And he said all this hard work he's put in over the years to be a great coach and be exemplary in this field, it's kind of all been washed away because when people think of him now, they're not going to be thinking about his coaching career and all the things he tried to do. They're going to, that's the coach that got handcuffed and
that's
taken
what I'm
up
going to be
to
thinking about. I don't know nobody else, but I didn't know him before then. But now that I know him,
this incident brought him to
national
the national attention,
national spotlight.
I'm actually glad that he's suing over this. I don't think he's really asking an exorbitant amount, considering the level of humiliation he had to endure just for no reason.
Right.
We talked about, and I suspect, I believe Morehouse would want to go ahead and settle this and not make a big deal out of it. But we talked about this incident. It was a case, it was toward the end of the game. There were some football players. Remember, this is a basketball game.
Came down
so
and
football
joined the
players
line.
from Morehouse. Yeah, and before that, I guess they were making comments,
Taunting
taunting,
the
and
Tuskegee bench.
So, and I think we didn't know necessarily about that specific detail, but they had been taunting when we talked about it the last time. They had been taunting some of the Tuskegee players on the bench, and then afterward, this is the part where we picked it up. They joined the handshake line.
Right.
It's supposed to be just best. So they really shouldn't even been on the
Right,
court.
on the court floor.
Especially, least of all, doing that.
And the coach said he had told the security before that he complained to them about, and the referees, about them taunting his bench, the football players taunting his people on the bench, and nothing was done about it. He said the guy just turned his back on the security guards, turned his back and laughed and walked the other direction.
Yeah.
He said so that was already in place. That was already brewing. And then so when the football players joined the handshake line, he was complaining again. And that's when, in response to his complaint, the security guard, according to the coach, then handcuffed him and walked him across.
So when did this country, and it seems like we've always been that way, but when did we become so comfortable with depriving someone of their freedom? Slapping handcuffs on somebody, because that's what you're doing when you slap handcuffs on somebody.
That's correct. Yeah.
We've done that.
We're very comfortable with it now.
I've done that in training. I think that's the only time only time I'm willing to admit on this radio station that I've ever been, handcuffed.
Right.
And that's a very, very uncomfortable feeling. Mm-hmm. When you have someone that can, even when it's in training, when someone has put some handcuffs on you, you can't move your hands.
Right.
And in training, we would do the whole leg irons too. Mm-hmm. So you really were restrained at that point. But we're talking about just handcuffs here. Someone has deprived you of your movement, of your hands, of your freedom. And I always thought, and I wished, I hope that DL was listening. DL, if you're listening, call in. But
actually, he did call earlier.
He did. DL, call back DL.
Right.
DL can be a little impatient sometimes. So what I would say is that I wonder, are you allowed to put handcuffs on someone if you're not going to arrest him? Because in my mind, that's the only time you should be able to put handcuffs on somebody.
And in this case,
you got DL called him back here.
Yeah, I just want to say, in this case, there was no arrest and no charges, just to clarify.
Well, there have been times when officers do that when they think that there's
could be a crowd control type.
Right, they're doing a search or whatever, and there's a possibility that they may be subject to harm or whatever. And in the detention, then they'll use something. They'll put cuffs on the person during that type of situation. Mm-hmm. So it does happen, and we know that ICE officers do stuff like that all the time. DL on the line. DL, are you there?
Man, yeah, I've been on hold since y'all came back from the break. I'm gonna chime in on both subjects.
Sure,
I'll
go
be
ahead.
quick with Hubert, and I like Hubert. But he had to go. Him and Tom Izzo, Michigan State. He's been at Michigan State for 20-some years. They actually have the same record over the last 5-year span. Here's the difference. Hubert lost the big league, the championship game, and Izzo gets his team to the Sweet 16. And, and I look at this. Practice is an extension of the court.
Yes.
No way your players should be playing around. That lap machine on Trimble, I'm saying that's inexcusable. Worry your strength and conditioning coaches. I just think part of that, and then your star player playing around dunking in practice. I just think it's time to move in another direction, and losing the VCU up 19.
Yeah.
And good. But Hubert says he's gonna coach again. Getting back to detaining folks. There's no reason. Cops love doing that. I just think they're weak. Why are you detaining folks if they're calm, cool, and collected? There's no need to detain.
Yep.
Because when you start detaining folks unnecessarily, and in this situation, he should have never been detained.
Yep.
And they love to say, "Well, we can detain you for our safety and your safety." But that was a bad look on that. So I don't believe in just detaining people just to be detaining folks.
Right.
That's a cop's discretion, and so they get to use their discretion. And but this was different though, because this coach wasn't doing anything wrong. He
Nothing
was just,
at all. Yeah.
Pointing out his objections. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
And so there's that dirty word again.
Discretion.
That's like a dirty word to when it comes to.
No, it's not like it is a dirty word.
Word when it comes to a lot of law enforcement, or when it comes to a lot of other things.
No, when it comes to minorities and poor people, it's a dirty word, because that they always suffer when there's discretion involved in any form, shape, or fashion that it comes in our society. It's systemic. So when you hear when they talk about, well, we're going to leave it to the states, to the Supreme Court, we're going to leave it to the states to work this out, use their discretion, whatever.
Yeah.
You know that minorities and poor people are going to get the short end of that stick every single time.
Yeah, and that's why if you don't address certain issues on a systemic level, on a broad level, and set regulations and safeguards, it allows for even more discretion. The less rules that you have written down, that you have to follow certain rules. And of course, we're in a time where the federal government under Trump is taking away all of those safeguards, non-discrimination clauses, and trying to prod universities to do the same thing.
Right.
There is, in fact, a lawsuit. I believe it's want to say, I'm not going to call it the wrong university, but it is a Southern university, a predominantly white school, where they got rid of 2 publications, one geared towards African Americans and one geared toward women.
So that'd be like,
and so they just targeted those 2 of all the campus publications and said, well, under Trump's new DEI rules, we got to get rid of these. So that the lawsuit is saying, well, why are you targeting these 2? So
if that had been in place when you were in school, they would have been trying to shut down the Black Ink.
Right? The Black Ink, which was the student paper of the Black student movement.
Right.
On campus.
Controversial name all the way around. Black Ink.
That was
it's
a
called
fun
Ink
gig.
is black, or because everybody that was on the paper was black?
Both. Right? Well, not everybody. We did have a white guy who helped with design and tech stuff.
In his more militant days. Too. He's even got a picture with standing with his
black. Yeah, it was black fist.
Black Ink.
Yeah. He's grown up now.
It's fun time. It's fun time.
So you can do all that stuff when you're late teens and 20s. You got family and stuff to worry about now.
Well, at least I didn't go as far as Clarence Thomas, who was, a Black Panther.
Yeah, he was
in college.
If you can imagine that.
And look at him now. That's a journey. But anyway, this coach, Benji Taylor, good luck to him. Now, Marsha, this is a federal civil lawsuit.
Right.
So from the legal perspective, if Morehouse chooses not to fight this and settle, that's an option for them.
Yes,
right?
of course,
okay.
of course.
That's an option.
Right.
And I would think they have so little ground to stand on. And honestly, even if they were pretty strong legally, just the optics of it.
It's just a matter. Really, this case is going to boil down to a matter of how much they can agree on, because they would be willing, in my opinion, to sell. Because
I think they agree on just about everything.
Right.
I would think.
Right. So just a matter of the money.
And see, not only that, but they need to.
Like, do we think Morehouse honestly believe that guy should have been cuffed?
Right.
No.
And so I'm wondering, and this is also a time for a training piece. I mean, this guy's got to have this police officer, security guard. They use
2 of them.
Yeah, it was 2. This name, the one that we saw most prominently, was an African American guy. So it's not.
This security guard needs some more training.
Not a racial component.
You can't have a verbal back and forth, and then you get outside of yourself and decide that you're going to or get angry. I'm thinking that's what we must have. I don't know what the coach said to him, but for whatever reason, he got angry.
Yeah,
he got angry enough to say that he wanted to handcuff this guy. And you just can't say, and again, that's when I go back to my original, when we get into this country where people can just be deprived for running their mouth.
Yeah, and we see ICE, and in fact killed with ICE, right?
Right. Deprived of their freedom and the ability to move around. And then a few minutes later, you take the handcuffs off. That's unacceptable. You should not be putting handcuffs on people, in my mind. And then DL cleared it up for me. They have discretion. But you should not be putting handcuffs on people unless you're going to arrest them. they propose some type of thing, danger, threat, and you're going to put charges on them. This guy, he keeps them in the handcuffs for a couple of minutes and then lets them go on your merry way. That's unacceptable to be doing in American society.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say on this story, the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, which they play in, they fined Morehouse an undisclosed amount, and they say the school failed to meet mandated conference safety standards. And
like
of course,
the football players being down there on that court.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll hope it gets resolved in a way that's amicable for all parties, because these are both obviously two storied institutions, both historically black colleges and universities, and this is not a good look for Morehouse. And
I mean, you
hope
really do have
they handle it well.
As
here.
As a security person, you really should be thinking about more along the lines of, like the coach was trying to say, crowd control. You really should be thinking along them lines, and part of the crowd that particular day were the football players, and that's what you should, instead of arresting this coach or putting handcuffs on him. You didn't arrest him. Putting handcuffs on this coach, you should have been thinking about why are these football players in the line and all of that kind of stuff. They got into a little bit of that with that Carolina Duke game, that last game where they stormed the court. You know, Carolina fans started knocking people out.
Well, that turned out not to be really as accurate.
It got physical.
John Shire was claiming that, and then people were like, "Well, who did it?" I mean, no one could really find it.
It was thousands of people. How they gonna find that out? I do know this.
It's not clear that what he said happened. There certainly was a melee after Seth Trimble.
Did you see the game?
That heartbreaking shot against Duke that defeated them. So we stormed the court, and then there were two court stormings because the game wasn't quite over. So they they moved the fans out to the side.
And then they stormed it again.
Then we won again. Then we stormed again.
So now
in that kind of situation, I don't doubt that someone someone maybe cheering and throwing their hands up and may have made contact with a Duke player. You got to get out of the way.
How can they? How can they? They were trying to get out of the way. How can they? They stormed the court. So now the reason why you knew that it was true because there was blood on the floor. But there was blood. Somebody drew blood. And the Carolina fans, just regular storming of the court.
Yeah, just storming the court. That's all.
And even the athletic director had to come back in the box. There was blood on the floor. Somebody was bleeding. And so you should see them Duke players trying to get off their court.
They were trying to get off.
They were trying to get out of there because they saw it coming.
All right, so we got to move on. But we wish the best for the coach. But he's right about that. That's kind of a.
He's 58, younger than Darryl Green.
He said the stigma surrounding him was like a scarlet letter. Of him being walked off the court like that.
When you see,
because especially when it happened, because people like us when we first started doing this story, we were like, well, what did he do?
Right.
Then we kind of find out
people
he
tend
didn't do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right. What else we got, fellas?
We're going to direct our attention to the UN, and the UN passed a resolution. Adopted a resolution declaring the trafficking of enslaved Africans the gravest crime against humanity and calling for reparations as a concrete step towards remedying historical wrongs. And they had a vote on it. And of the vote they had, let me get the numbers here. They had 100, the vote in the 193 member world body was 123-3 with 52 abstentions. And of course, well, some of you may not think of course, but for the three of us, it was of course. Argentina, Israel, and the United States were the three members voting against the resolution. And so we stood strong saying we don't support it.
Yeah, now, if abstention means you don't vote.
Right, you don't vote.
So we should also point out
that the
European
European
that's the
Union,
headline, that the United Kingdom and all 27 members of the European Union were among those that abstained. Now, I didn't actually know that aspect of it. The United States voting against, that's the Trump effect.
Right.
Because if you can abstain and still not vote for it, why not go that route? The United States, under Trump, specifically wanted to say,
we don't support it.
We don't support this. And that's why there were so few nations that did that. Now, why did the 27 nations that are part of Europe abstain? And the reason it's always the same reason. It's money.
Right.
Because the resolution includes something about reparations, doesn't it?
Right, it does.
So if you're a nation, whether you're the U.S. or UK, and you were involved in the slave trade, and a lot of European countries were.
Yes, they were.
Including the UK. They stopped earlier than we did, but they were involved in the transatlantic slave trade. If you acknowledge that reparations are due,
ching ching,
then that means you have to
pay.
At some point, pay.
Right.
So they don't want to put that on the record.
Right.
I think that eventually we may not see it. Miles and Sam may not see it,
right.
Helen Ann, but
maybe
eventually I do
300 or
think
400
there's
years
going to
from
be
now.
some kind of reparations. It could be in the form of scholarships. It could be in the form of things that make home ownership more achievable for the black community here in Fayetteville and in other countries affected by this really grievous crime against humanity. The UN got it right.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the language of the resolution, it's right. And people know it's right. But again, these countries don't want to have to be on the hook, so to speak,
it's
for
the
reparations.
money. It's the money. But they give other reasons. But it's the money.
Yeah.
As a reason they don't want to go on record for this. They give a number of different reasons. First, they say, well, we don't like the fact that you're saying that it's the gravest crime. Because we don't think when people suffer atrocious acts or deeds, we don't believe in ranking them, and so we don't like that part of the language saying it was
the gravest crime. It didn't say the gravest ever. It says it was a gravest. It didn't say it was number one. It just says it was the gravest crime against humanity.
When you're saying it's the gravest, then that means that it was
which is one of the.
I think it's a matter of interpretation.
Right. But they use that.
I read it was that it is among the gravest crimes you could commit, and I think it easily qualifies for that. I also don't agree with ranking, but I think there's a certain class of behavior of crimes against humanity that all kind of are down there. When you just completely negate the humanity of another human being, I think that kind of puts you on a tier of crimes that I would call it the gravest, especially all the violence involved.
So, Marshall and Myron, if you look at the three countries that voted against calling this the gravest crimes against humanity, voted against it. It was 123-3.
Mm-hmm.
United States, we already talked about why they probably.
And with under President Trump, we even said some of these other states, other countries abstained because they didn't want, but it was about the money. But the United States even said, we oppose the past wrongdoing of the transatlantic slave trade and all other forms of slavery. We do not recognize a legal right to reparations for historical wrongs that were not illegal under international law at the time they occurred.
Right.
So
and
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, this is
classic.
A country that fancies itself a moral country, right?
Right.
We got particularly not just conservative Americans, but many conservative Americans, Republicans. They're trying to get the 10 Commandments in schools.
Right.
Successfully putting it in some schools in Texas.
And then on this, they're hiding behind technicalities.
Suddenly very legalistic.
Right.
Let's forget the moral stuff.
Right.
It was legal at the time.
Right.
Many, awful moral crimes were legal at the time.
Yep.
So that really is kind of an excuse. Now, my question, and you this was raised, how do we think? And I'm not going to say how I can say how I think would have happened with President Obama. But what do we think if President Obama was presented with this same resolution?
I think we probably would have been in the abstention.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, probably. Because again, at the end of the day, it's that financial piece that.
So you don't think the big O would have?
No, I don't think.
Especially at the time, post Trump, a big O type figure might pull the trigger on reparations.
Right. Well, like
what about
I said,
Clinton?
No.
Clinton was the only one to apologize for slavery.
Yeah, he was.
So now my question to you guys though is, you look at the three countries. So we talked about the United States. What's Argentina's and Israel's thing?
I'm not sure. Israel, I could see them maybe objecting to the gravest crime rhetoric because of the Holocaust.
Right.
That could be it. And that would be, I think anyone would say, is a legitimate reason. Argentina, I'm not sure. because they were. I know Brazil was very much involved in the transatlantic slave, because it was enslaved people. It was also goods. And there are some countries who took advantage of the goods, didn't necessarily practice slavery in their shores, but they benefited from goods. Of course, the main one being here was cotton, which was, of course, almost entirely produced by slave labor at one point.
And that's what Marshall was referring to. Certain groups, Israel, Jewish people, believe that their suffering has been, and some black people believe that African American suffering has been
so
greater,
sometimes it gets into
greater than any
a back and forth of who suffered the worst.
Who suffered the most, and who, this, that, and other thing. So you're saying you think that, but what's Argentina's deal, though?
I don't know. That I would have to look into why. I don't know why they would be specifically in the no camp, versus abstaining.
Right.
It'd be something to look into. So I do applaud the UN for taking this stance. They've
been taking a lot of controversial stances.
They have, and I think part of that is a response
to Trump.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to push back.
Yeah, and there is. This is part of the pushback. Ironically, the first American Pope, who is from Chicago, Pope Leo, has become more forthright. And he doesn't mention countries by name or Trump by name, but for example, he made some pretty strong statements about these, kind of wars of aggression against certain nations, clearly a reference to not only Iran, but Venezuela. And he
Cuba and all the rest of
it. So
black and brown people, Nigeria.
He's made some pretty strong statements. I think any kind of pushback, it may not seem on an individual level, on a case-by-case level, like it's that important, but it all kind of fits together. And I think you are starting to see more institutions. We see even in the Iran war, and it's not to the benefit of our nation, you're starting to see more institutions push back against what's going on from the U.S. side of things. So.
All right. Well, we're out of time today. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. I am Marshall Pitts.
Marshall Pitts.
I'm Myron Pitts.
And we are MP3. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.